Hey, today I want to talk about like mean bosses or like kind of cancel culture, but like the way that we're choosing to approach like I guess assholes. So I just saw this video essay where I think this girl was wrong, all right? Um, but she was talking about how like people like Ellen DeGeneres and Lizzo could get canceled for being mean, whereas people like Trump and Kanye um, don't get canceled because it's on brand. They're already kind of assholes, which I kind of disagree with it. What she was saying, um, basically, what she was saying was like, you have to like hold your image, and she stuck up for Ellen DeGeneres a lot. Um, but when I watch Ellen, it's actually a very inauthentic TV show. Like to me, I think they're just pushing products. I think they're just selling stuff. So yeah, like I think she's creating this image where she's nice, but I don't think she was really nice. But then at the same time, like when these articles came out and they were like, "Hey, Ellen DeGeneres is actually like a really mean boss, and her team is like really strict and all of this," and she gets canceled over that. Like, you're canceled because your boss is mean? This is the most like neoliberal like nonsense that I've ever heard. Also, like, it's funny how we're expecting our bosses to be nice. Bosses are not nice. Bosses are basically uh let's talk about like management. It's an unnecessary job that basically makes sure that you're doing your job. So they might be acting nice, just like Ellen does. You know, she acts nice, but they're there for a reason and they're pushing something. So if they're mean, if they come off as mean and they act mean, they're on brand and you're not going to be mad because you know what you're getting into. Think about like the military. So I was in the military for a while and like all my bosses were mean. I had a few cool ones, you know, but like that's pretty much you had to be mean. And then I became a boss and they used to get mad at me because I wasn't mean. All right. They were like, "Hey, you need to be more military," because that was just kind of part of the deal. All right. And then now I work these jobs like on the mountain and like my workmates complain about our bosses being mean. These people aren't even close. However, they have their motives are to get us to work. So if you're a manager, it's basically like to micromanage and make sure everyone feels this pressure like they need to be doing something at all times. So you kind of got to be in their ass. Like you got to be like, I don't know, like managers don't really do anything. It's not like a real job. Managers is like Reed Graver's bullshit jobs. Managers is basically like just to keep this mentality that we have, especially in America. It's the Protestant work ethic. Read Max Weber, um, Protestant work ethic. That's a really important document that was written. I learned about it in sociology. But we should all, I mean, if you took sociology 101 or whatever, you probably learned about it, but like you didn't learn about it. Read it. It's really interesting because he's talking about why the way that we think about work is the way that it is right now. All right, it comes from like Protestants coming from Europe, um, and like how they felt about worldly possessions. So it's a type of Christianity. Protestants is non-Catholic Christians, but Catholics are the same. You know, it's like, hey, like all your worldly possessions and what you do on earth doesn't matter, because if you do what you're supposed to do here, you're going to get to heaven, and then that's eternal paradise. So this life doesn't matter. Your next life does matter. So what that makes people do is like they will willingly slave away during this life. It keeps the whole population like kind of brainwashed, at least if they're religious. But the religion died, so the religion went away, but we still think of work like this. Think about like, damn, I always think of this supervisor I had when I worked at REI, and I would talk to my friends at REI, but anytime I was talking to my friends, he would be like, "Hey, Rye's talking again. Let's get him to fold clothes or something." Even if all the clothes were folded, even if I had been working my ass off all day and I stopped, dude, they marked me because I would come back from lunch, but like you walking, like I'd go sit in my car and like I don't know, chill or something, read a book, And then I would come back from lunch and I would talk to this dude at the door. Like, he used to like stand in the door, and he was like this older man who worked there. So he'd be the door guy. And I'd just be like, what's up? I forgot his name. Oh, Frank. I don't know. I'd be like, what's up, Frank? And blah, blah, blah. And like, we would be talking. And I came, one time I got a talking to, and they were like, hey, man, you're a really good employee, blah, blah, blah. But like, when you come back from lunch, you turn up as red. So if you're not back within 3 minutes of your allotted time for lunch, then it marks you as red. And you took 4 minutes this day. You took 5 minutes this day coming back. But I was coming back. I was just talking to this guy. I was in uniform. I was ready to go, you know, but like, they're being like really nitpicky about that. And they're like, hey, we give you 3 minutes of leeway. This is a manager's job. This is what managers do. They put this pressure on you that makes you feel like you have to be doing stuff, okay? And guess what? That was a nice manager. Katie was a great manager. She was just like, oh, always friendly with a smile on her face, telling you what to do. But what are her motives? Her motives is to instill this mindset. Her motives are to brainwash you. Her motives are to maintain the corporate culture of REI, which is not a co-op. It's a corp. It is a corporation. Their goal is to make as much money as possible. And all you are not an employee. You are not a co-op member, whether you're an employee or whether you're a customer. You're just a statistic that they could sell a credit card to. Like, that's all you are. Like, and we try to make it like we're more, or this is an important job, or I like the people here. And like, you can keep telling yourself this stuff all as much as you want. Like, I don't really care, but that's what they are. Okay. So like, I don't give a shit whether Katie's mean or okay. Like, man, I had some like mean supervisors on the ski mountain, but they would be mean. And then they'd just be like, all right, well, fuck that guy. You know, I'm just parking cars. Fire me. They won't fire me. They need me. I show up at 6 to shovel snow. I drive the shuttle. I park whatever lot they need me. If they radio me, I always help. Like, I do everything that they want, everything that they need. If there's a job to do, I don't complain. I never complain. They ain't gonna fire me. But if they're mean to me because they parked the car fucked up, like, then I don't know. That's their problem. Whatever. Fine, be mean. I don't give a shit. I don't. But at least he's like honest about it. So like, Ellen's supposed to. Okay, so back to Ellen DeGeneres. She's and Lizzo, kind of same idea. Like, they're like, their brand is like, oh, I'm kind of like a nice person, or I'm like putting the opportunity out here for like fat people or whatever. I don't know, whatever Lizzo's doing. But like, whatever they're doing, they're marketed as nice. So when they start getting strict and telling you what they want, because these are corporate entities. Think about what Ellen is. She plugs movies. She doesn't really interview people. She plugs Hollywood. Like, she plugs Warner Brothers. She plugs like, she's a promoter. She's basically like an advertiser. It's disgusting. She went from like pretty damn good comedian to like an advertisement, just a walking advertisement. So if you're not fitting into this program, if you can't get these cheap laughs or go viral or whatever, she's going to get strict with you. And she's going to be two-faced, because that's what work is. But then we want to cancel Ellen. We want to cancel Ellen because she's mean. We want to cancel Lizzo because she's mean. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, even Lizzo said this. She was like, look, dude, I'm trying to give these people a platform. I'm trying to help these people out. They're like overweight dancers or whatever. Like, they ain't going to get a gig with anyone but Lizzo, because that's, I don't know what she's doing. So like, I don't know, like she was kind of hooking them up, and then like they're like, oh, she's mistreating us at like or she was like trying to like push these lap dances on us when we went to the strip club. Well, you went to the strip club with like a celebrity. Like, chill, dude. Like, oh, she's probably like trying to like lighten the mood or something. I don't know. Or just trying to be a little more like, I don't know, what's up, dude? Like, get a dance. I don't. And then they're like, oh, well, everyone's so like, everyone's trying to sue everyone over this stuff. Everyone's trying to be like, oh, well, you're not PC, or you're not like living up to your nice image. It's not a nice image. It's never been a nice image. We are disgusting to each other. Like, Lizzo's no different. Ellen's no different. These people are corporations. Like, these people are businesses. All right. I'm not saying that's right, because it's disgusting, but that's how we operate. So you think the problem is Ellen or Lizzo? It's cultural. It's bigger than that. The problem is managers. The problem is the Protestant work ethic. The problem is how we think about work, because it's wrong. It's broken. It's fucked up. And then let me get into like Kanye. All right, I'm always defending Kanye, dude, like all the time. Like he's harder to defend now. I can't really stick up for all that like shit he's doing now. But I like that that he stirs the pot. I really like that because it's all that stuff that like we refuse to think about. We don't want to think about this stuff. We want to go to work and be like, "Oh man, I love where I work because they're nice to me." And we're not looking at the bigger picture. Like if Ellen was nice to you, I would still see her as a two-faced liar, like liar, because I know what she's doing. She's trying to make money. That's all we're all doing. We're nothing to each other except data. We're nothing to each other except for statistics. All right? At least Kanye is breaking our minds. At least he's breaking the media because they don't know what to say. They're like, "Oh, we hate Kanye," but they don't know why. Okay, because he's wearing like that. All right. Well, I that's a good reason to be mad at him. But why is he doing that? Do you think he really like has that kind of hatred in his heart? Think about it. What is he trying to say? And then Trump, I don't like Trump. I think he's horrible. I think he's terrible for this country. But he's not better than Democrats. In fact, like in some aspects, he is better than Democrats because Democrats, like, imagine if they won this election. You know what they would know? Like, you know what they would take from if Kamala Harris won this election? You know what they would think? We could still win elections and we could still support Israel. Israel? What's real? Israel? So we could still support that and win elections. Wouldn't that be disgusting? That's what I'm talking about. They're so nice. They're not as mean as Trump. They're not saying like grab her by the whatever. They're not saying this stuff like Trump, right? So they must be nice. But if they were able to win elections by supporting you-know-who, then how nice is that? Like, they're going to be great. They're going to be like, "Oh, we're helping the environment. Oh, we're here for you. We're going to lower grocery prices, blah, 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 blah." Like, all these empty promises. But, like, who are they deep down? What are they? They're just as corporate as REI. So at least Trump wears it on his sleeve. Yeah, he's a horrible person. He's a horrible person. I don't think, no, do I think he should be president? Hell no. But guess what? You end up with people like this as president because we know that you are lying to us. We know our bosses are lying to us. We know Ellen's lying to us. We know she's selling stuff. I'm not the only one saying this. All right? Excuse me. But and we know we're being sold lies by the Democrats, right? And that's why they lost the election, because we're like, okay, well, they keep lying to us. I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go vote for you because you ain't telling me the truth. In fact, you're giving me a lot of nothing burgers. You're not really saying anything. You're not. And then Republicans are like, "Oh, well, they're supporting trans people and there's only two genders and blah blah blah." But guess what? Democrats didn't say anything about that because they were too scared to. Because they didn't want to take a position on it, because they look at that the same way that they look at foreign policy. Because it's going to go, you're going to have one crowd that says this, you're going to have one crowd that says that, and they're just going to divide each other more. So, they're too scared to even say anything. So they didn't say anything. The people obsessing over trans rights are Republicans. Democrats don't give a fuck about you. You are just a number. You are just a statistic. And trans people is a very small statistic, but it gets people all riled up. You know who gets riled up? White women on Twitter. All right? Because they're like, you want to be an ally. You want to be queer yourself. And I say this as a queer man. Which, I don't know. I don't really wear it on my sleeve either, because I feel like it's just become so performative. And I don't want to sign. I'm not siding with my nice manager just because I like working at REI. Don't ever, and I do like working at REI, but don't ever forget that that's a corporation. Don't ever forget that they look at you as data. All right? They are the enemy. They are the enemy of the people. They want to reduce you to a number. You think the military is bad? At least the military tells you what they are, rather than lies about it. They don't lie about it. Whereas your workplace, okay, you know what fascism is? Benito Mussolini said that fascism is the melding of corporatism and government. It's when it becomes the same thing. Tell me that isn't America. That's America. All right. And okay, fascism, like it's like authoritarian rule, right? So we're all calling Trump a fascist, but you know how far down the line he is? He's not being a fascist to you. He might be rounding people up and throwing them in jail in some like really rough country, right? Just for having like dissenting voices. But you know how small of a population that is? It's like a person here and there, you know? What percent of the population is that? How does that affect you? It doesn't affect you. I mean, it's worth being mad about. Is it fucked up? Absolutely. But the fascism you should be worried about is, do you have to work for a living? Do you have to work to pay your bills? Then you don't really have a say in your life. You don't really get to do what you want. You got to show up to work at 5 a.m. tomorrow. You have to, all right? Otherwise, like, oh, and you're free to not go to work, right? They say it's a free country. Okay, well, I'll quote Chomsky right here. You're free to starve. Like, you're free to, like, not eat. So, like, we're subjected to fascism every day. And it's not Trump that's doing it. It's your job. Your job is doing it, all right? You don't have an option. You're already in a work camp, all right? You don't get to work where you want either. Some people do. Some people are really happy with their jobs. Some people are managers and they love it. They love being a fascist dictator. You know what I'm saying? Like, know your enemy, all right? Yeah, absolutely. Trump sucks. He's the enemy. But your boss is a worse enemy that has a say on every day of your life, all right? And what are you going to do? Like, tell him? Get fired? Go work somewhere else? Have another fascist boss? Because you're going to have to work. So, like, yeah, we're a free country if you have a lot of money. Otherwise, it's fascism for the poor people. It's fascism for me. I gotta get a job. I have a lot of shit to pay for. What am I doing sitting here with a stupid hat and a stupid shirt? Huh? What am I doing? Go to work. Go to work. Okay. And that's all I wanted to say. All right? Canceling Lizzo, canceling Ellen, that's stupid. You're looking at the wrong enemy. All right? Because they're mean. Because they're mean to their employees. The people getting mad about that have never worked a day in their life. My boss is mean. My boss is mean. But you're mad at Lizzo for being mean to her employees? Stupid. Okay. But yeah, okay, so that video that I watched earlier, it was like, hey, like, if your brand is mean and you're mean, you won't get canceled. If your brand is nice and you do something mean, you're going to get canceled right away. Because, well, I mean, what I take out of that is like, what's your brand? What's a brand? Why do we all have brands? Because we're all corporations. Because that's how we look at each other. All right. I've gone on almost 20 minutes. Later.